Welcome back to Bible Quizzes. Today we got another 40 questions for you guys on the scriptures, so let's get started. Question 1. What is the sixth commandment? You shall not murder, you shall not steal, or you shall not commit adultery. You shall not murder. Exodus 20:13. You shall not murder. Question 2. Jonah was in the belly of the fish for blank days and blank nights. 3 days and 2 nights, 2 days and 2 nights, or 3 days and 3 nights. 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah 1:17. Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Question 3. On what mountain did Moses receive the 10 commandments? Mount Sinai, Mount Ararat, or Mount Nebo? Mount Sinai. Exodus 19:20. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain, so Moses went up. Question 4. What's the sixth plague of Egypt? Hail, boils, or gnats? Boils. Exodus 9:9. It will become fine dust over the whole land of Egypt, and festering boils will break out on people and animals throughout the land. Question 5. King Darius had Daniel thrown where? The lion's den, snake's pit, or ocean? The lion's den. Exodus 7:20. So the king gave the order, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Question 6. Joseph predicted that there would be blank years of famine in Egypt. 8, 7, or 6? Seven. Luke 4:16. And the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. There was famine in all the other lands, but in the whole land of Egypt there was food. Question 7. What are the dimensions of Noah's Ark? Length 300 cubits by 20 cubits by 10 cubits, or 300 cubits by 50 cubits by 30 cubits, or 3,000 cubits by 70 cubits by 10 cubits? 300 cubits by 50 cubits by 30 cubits. Genesis 6:15. This is how you are to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Question 8. Fill in the blanks. Love is blank. Love is kind. It does not blank. It does not boast. It is not proud. Patient fight, patient envy, or sweet madden. Patient envy. Corinthians 13:4-7. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. Question 9. Which of the following disciples doubted Jesus' resurrection? Thomas, John, or Peter? Thomas. John 20:27. Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here, see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Question 10. What part of the body is described as restless evil, full of deadly poison? The eyes, ears, or tongue? The tongue. James 3:8. But no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. Question 11. What was the name of the woman who betrayed Samson? Delilah, Rachel, or Abigail? Delilah. Judges 16:18. When Delilah saw that he had told her everything, she sent word to the rulers rulers of the Philistines. Come back once more, he has told me everything. So the rulers of the Philistines returned with the silver in their hands. Question 12. When Jesus cast away the demons, he sent them into what animals? Cows, pigs, or sheep? Pigs. Matthew 8:32. He said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs, and the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water. Question 13. Fill in the blanks. The sting of death is blank, and the power of blank is the law. Sin and sin, sin and love, or pain and love. Sin and sin. 1 Corinthians 15:56. The sting of death is sin, and the power of sin is the law. Question 14. The 10 men that Jesus healed were suffering from what sickness? Blindness, epilepsy, or leprosy? Leprosy. Luke 17:12. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance. Question 15. In which river was Moses found as a baby? The Nile, Jordan, or Euphrates? The Nile. Exodus 2:3. But when she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. Question 16. What are the names of Lazarus' sisters? Mary and Martha, Zariah and Abigail, or Leah and Rachel? Mary and Martha. John 11:1-2. Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. Question 17. What are the names of Moses' siblings? Ephraim and Manasseh, Nahor, Haran, and Abraham, or Aaron and Miriam? Aaron and Miriam. Numbers 26:59. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, and a descendant of Levi, who was born to the Levites in Egypt. To Amram she bore Aaron, Moses, and their sister Miriam. 18. Who was the Pharisee who met with Jesus at night? Ezra, Samuel, or Nicodemus? Nicodemus. John 3:1. Now there was a Pharisee, a man named Nicodemus, who was a member of the Jewish ruling council. He came to Jesus at night and said, "Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who has come from God, for no one could perform the signs you are doing if God were not with him." 19. A rabbi is a blank. Teacher, doctor, or judge? Teacher. John 1:38. Turning around, Jesus saw them following and asked, "What do you want?" They said, "Rabbi," which means teacher. "Where are you staying?" 20. How many hair braids does Samson have? 4, 7, or 10? Seven. Judges 16:19. After putting him to sleep on her lap, she called for someone to shave off the 7 braids of his hair, and so began to subdue him, and his strength left him. 21. Who is Zechariah's wife? Mary, Sarah, or Elizabeth? Elizabeth. Luke 1:13. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to call him John." 22. Whose wife disobeyed the angel's warning and became a pillar of salt? Noah's wife, Ezekiel's wife, or Lot's wife? Lot's wife. Genesis 19:26. But Lot's wife looked back and she became a pillar of salt. 23. Shem, Ham, and Japheth are the sons of Noah, David, or Ezra. Noah. Genesis 10:1. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. 24. In the parable of the 10 virgins, what did the 5 foolish virgins fail to bring? Oil, lamps, or incense? Oil. Matthew 25:3. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. 25. According to Jesus, how many times shall you forgive your brother or sister who sins against you? 7 times, 70 times, or 77 times? "77 times. Matthew 18:22. Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times. 26. You shall not have no other gods before me is the blank commandment. Second, first, or third? First. Exodus 23. You shall have no other gods before me. 27. Unless you change and become like little blank, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Doves, lambs, or children? Children. Matthew 18:3. And he said, Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. 28. How many stones did David have in his pack when he fought Goliath? 7, 3, or 5? 5. 1 Samuel 17:40. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand approached the Philistine. 29. The first 3 words in the Bible are, in the beginning, once upon a, or it all started. In the beginning, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. 30. What's the name of King Solomon's mother? Haggith, Esther, or Bathsheba? Bathsheba. 1 Kings 1:11. Then Nathan asked Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, Have you not heard that Adonijah, the son of Haggith, has become king and our Lord David knows nothing about it? 31. What were the 3 gifts that the wise men presented to the infant Jesus? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh, crown, bracelet, and ring, or gold, frankincense, and fruits? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Matthew 2:11. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. 32. In Joseph the dreamer's dream, blank stars bowed down to him. 12, 11, or 13? Genesis 37:9. Then he had another dream and he told it to his brothers. Listen, he said, I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me. 33. Elijah was fed by what kind of bird? Raven, dove, or eagle? A raven. 1 Kings 17:6. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. 34. Noah was blank years old when the flood waters came on the earth. 100, 500, or 600? 600. Genesis 7:6. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth. 35. How old was Jesus when he started his ministry? About 20 years old about 40 years old, or about 30 years old? About 30 years old, Luke 3:23. Now Jesus himself was about 30 years old when he began his ministry. He was the son, so it was thought, of Joseph, the son of Heli. 36. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for how many years? 40, 70, or 30? 40 years. Joshua 5:6. The Israelites had moved about in the wilderness 40 years until all the men who were of military age when they left Egypt had died, since they had not obeyed the Lord. For the Lord had sworn to them that they would not see the land he had solemnly promised their ancestors to give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. 37. What's the name of Adam and Eve's first son? Cain, Seth, or Abel? Cain. Genesis 4:1. Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord I have brought forth a man." 38. How many apostles did Jesus have? 11, 10, or 12? 12. Luke 6:13. When morning came, he called his disciples to him and chose 12 of them, whom he also designated apostles. 39. The Lord is my blank, I lack nothing. Master, shepherd, or judge? Shepherd. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Question 40. To whom did Jesus first appear to upon his resurrection? John, Mary Magdalene, or Peter? Mary Magdalene. Mark 16:9. When Jesus rose early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had driven 7 demons. Alright, that's all the questions we have for today. Make sure you comment down below how you did, and then share this video with your friends and family so you can compare your score against theirs. I'll see you in the next one.